I just arrived at the Ganghwado station, that's line 4. There's a nice brook down there. I'm on my way to the river Han now. After I pass under this bridge, I'm going to take a left turn, after which I'll get to the Ganghwado. This is Seoul's business district, quite a plushy island. The sign on the trail says Ganghwado, which is very convenient. Now I have to be careful turning left because I don't want to hit any other cyclists, which is fine with me, but not with the cyclists. Seems like I made it. Now it's a pleasure riding these bike roads. They're so smooth, and of course, since this is the riverbank, there is no elevation except for some parts. The weather seems to be okay as well, so I think it's going to be a pleasant ride. Over and over again, I keep on being amazed by the people doing exercise in places like this, jogging, cycling, or just walking. People are clearly taking their health seriously in this country. This is Ganghwado, and I'm going to buy some water and snacks in a CU store down there that's actually on a boat. Those buildings are in the Ganghwado business district, local city so to speak. Behind me is the famed building 63 that used to be the tallest one in Seoul, maybe the whole of Korea, but not anymore. I think these days is the tower at Jamsil. I'm going to wear my mask now and go down to get my stuff. This is a rest area at a place where the Anyang-chan, one of the tributaries, flows into the Han River. Everything is nicely furnished. Lots of gym machines are installed along the riverbanks with many people training every time I pass here. And I'm up for a long, nearly straight stretch that's going to take me close to the North Korean border. One of the reasons why I hate these straight, long stretches is because nothing is happening along the way. One of the reasons why I love bike trips is because everything is normally very dynamic, everything is changing. Here, except that some people are passing me by and that there's new people all the time, nothing is changing. You see this old lady, she's doing her exercise apparently, which is very commendable, but otherwise this part of the trip is boring. On the opposite bank of the river there runs a highway called Jairo, a Liberty Road or a highway that takes you to a place called Imjingak, a symbolic last railway station on one's way to the north. Meanwhile the straight stretch continues and I'm approaching the Ganghwado Bridge that I cross every time I take a car to the Incheon International Airport. The train crossing the river on a bridge is actually a subway train, but in the Korean case, calling it subway is a misnomer, as so much subway is actually running above the ground. The long straight stretch still continues, but now it turned into a nice alley with lots of greenery on both sides, so riding has become a little more entertaining. It's about 20 kilometers from the Dongjak station, so I guess I'm going to have my snacks soon, which is a must if you go long distances. Energy must be replenished. This is Cheonho Bridge. On the left there is a brook that goes to the sea, but I'm going straight forward. The canal down there is called Arabekil, or the Arab Boat Passage, and there are bike paths laying along that canal too, so going that way is definitely worth its while. But I'm not going to do it because I want to be back home by today's evening. Eventually I lost my way, but now I'm back on track, and you can feel how close North Korea is just by looking at the barbed wire on top of the fence and the sentry posts. It's about 14 kilometers to the North Korean border, so no wonder precautions are being taken. This barbed wire is going to be my companion for most of the time, it seems. That black smoke on the opposite bank, what could it be? I remember it on the news. The North Koreans blew up a liaison office used for talks with the South because they got angry at the North Korean defectors who launched an array of hot air balloons with an anti-North propaganda leaflets. Seriously, I don't understand these guys. True, they must have suffered a lot in the North, but by defecting, they put all their families in danger. So was it really necessary to launch these balloons in addition to all the trouble? This black smoke reminds me of the enigmatic monster of the same nature in the last series, but luckily for me, it doesn't seem to be persecuting anyone. This place here is called Joluripogu, a small harbor after which the bike path will get separated from Road 78. The barbed wire is now on both sides of the road because there is a military post on my left apparently. In addition, these black and yellow bars are also there. And my best friend, the black monster, is still there as well. Never seems to leave me alone. I am now only 2 to 3 kilometers away from the North Korean border. There are no road signs and I think I'm lost, so I'm looking around. I should probably follow that road down there on my right. The black smoke is still haunting me and it seems to have become denser. Look at those beautiful green fields. Are they rice paddies? I'm not really sure, but those waves, those green waves look beautiful. They're like real waves in a real green-colored sea. Meanwhile, the road ahead of me has become completely rural. I love those country roads, they make you feel so cozy, but they're narrow too. See the waves of green rippling through the fields again? One of the best moments of today's trip really, this country road. This is the closest I can get to the North Korean border on this trip. It's less than 2 kilometers away now. But except for the warning red sign saying it's a military area, you don't feel it really. This is where I came from, my friend the black smoke is telling me. The sky is so beautiful. Okay, the bike stand and the road signs are telling me I'm not entirely off the bike trail. Yet I still feel lost somehow. As I am now supposed to go back, heading in the direction of the black smoke seems the right thing to do. There is also a sign on the road itself saying it's the bike path, so I guess I'll just go this way. On this map the red lines indicate bike trails. You see there are quite a lot of them. The Ganghwado island from where I started is in the circle. The dashed line is the North Korean border, so everything that's to the north of it is North Korea already. And the circled area here is where I think I am now. And I'm not really sure because, as I said, there are no road signs around. Does this really look like a bike trail? It doesn't to me, but the cacao map is telling me it is. This confusion is probably the result of the authorities trying to confuse the potential North Korean spies by uploading the wrong kind of maps on the web. But it seems to be making only my life difficult because I'm sure the real spies have very detailed and correct maps after all. So where am I supposed to go from here? You see, there are no road signs, there is nothing that would tell me where to go to, and all I can do is guess, which is alright since I'm good at guessing, I guess, but I don't understand why I have to guess. Alright, let's look around. This is where I came from, and I don't have much choice. You see, but to keep going in the direction that is opposite to the one where I arrived from. A couple of road signs on the way would be helpful indeed. Alright, since there is another cyclist on the road, I might be on the right track, but still, this is definitely not a bike path. I understand there can be all kinds of secrecy around this area, but then please don't say there are bike roads here. Otherwise, it's being a very pleasant ride, a lot of legwork, which is healthy, and the weather is great, as you can see. Up there are 2 roads, so which one should I follow? Do I go right or do I go left? It's not the first time I'm asking this question, which can be seen on my tracking map that I'm going to display soon. Despite close proximity to the North Korea, you see people are living their normal daily lives here, cultivating their fields, simply living here. Now when I looked back, I saw this road sign saying I am actually on the bike path I was looking for. All along the way, I can't get rid of the feeling that something is wrong, because it's too empty. There are no other people around. Feels very strange in a normally bustling country like Korea. Another look at the beautiful scenery. See those farmhouses and the fields, and the weather is great. And the Korean pine trees are very impressive. Okay, let's go further. This is what the rest of the trip basically looks like. Country roads, almost no people, utter lack of road signs, and a great weather. And another thing, of course, yes, I got lost again. I finally found a nice narrow path running along one of the numerous canals here. The canal will end at a highway that I'm going to take to go to the Ganghwado bridge and a subway station. I'm now going to show the GPS track of where I was today to compare it with what I actually wanted to do. This is what I did today. This is the long straight stretch. The bike path is well defined so far. Here the barbed wire starts, and this is where I got lost for the first time, and I keep getting lost. So at one point I even crossed the bridge to the Ganghwado island. This part is not even on the map. It's not shown as a bike trail. Finally, I found a highway that brought me back to the original bike track, so I'm back to the Ganghwado subway station. Comparing the actual path that I followed to what the Kakao map reports in terms of the bike trails, I think I was pretty close most of the time to those red lines on the Kakao map, alright, that correspond to the bike paths. Except for the part where I veered off to the Ganghwado island, and that part shown by the arrows. This is where the Kakao map says there is a bike path, but I could not find any much as I tried. I covered the total of 120 kilometers, quite exhausting, but at the same time it was a great trip.